The regular Evelyn City Council meeting scheduled for 7 p.m. November 19th will all come to order. Roll call.
Councillor Peterson. Here. Councillor Koivunen.
Here.
Councillor Lillis.
Here.
Councillor Hadrava.
Here.
Mayor Vasilevich.
Here. Item C, approval of minutes from City Council workshop October 8th. City Council meeting October 8th. City Council workshop November 5th. And City Council meeting November 5th. Can I have a motion that we approve these minutes as they stand?
So moved.
Motion made by Koivunen. Their support.
Support.
Support by Lillis. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item D, approval of agenda for this evening.
I'll make the motion with the removal of J1.
Okay. And I will, going to include in your motion, I will have some additions here on J2. No, I'll just read them off, a few other streets, so.
Okay.
Would you amend your motion to include my additions in J2?
Correct, yes.
Do I have a support to that motion?
That.
Support by Hadrava. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We have no appointments or presentations. And at this point, does anyone from the audience wish to address the council about anything? I'll allow time at the end of the meeting, but if you would like to now. Oh.
Councilman John, I retired recently, bro.
You want to come up to the microphone here? Then we can hear you a lot better. It doesn't seem that far away, but.
All right, Richard Mervich, 103 17th Avenue, West Evelyn. Okay, Councilman John and I were talking recently about a warming shack down there at the curling club. And, well, behind the curling club up there, the sliding hill warming shack or whatever. Well, he was saying something, I mentioned to put a flyer in a water bill maybe to see if some kind of residents in the city would want to get rid of a building or whatever, you know, for one stall garage to put down there and you could haul it away. And then I checked out this, there's a one stall garage out by McGregor's House Movers. They want $1,000 for it. It's a 12 by 22 building. Or you could go with another option, have the tech school build you a building down there. But I'm here to present a check for $2,500 for donation for the help build a shack down there. And while I'm on the subject about improving the city or whatever in that community, I live out in West Evelyn all my life, and I don't know, we don't feel it really connected out there. Why don't we have a multi-purpose trail between Evelyn and West Evelyn? I mean, it should have been in years ago, you know, but I think we should work on that and stuff, and even connect the trail up to the main trail out here on the edge of town, you know, for the snowmobilers to come into Evelyn and everything too, you know. And since the main trail goes out here now, so.
You know, you made that request. City of Leonidas asked that. The county has been trying to get with the mining company to get some kind of a permit to go through their property, and believe it or not, it's not a yes or no answer. But that is a definite, you know, concern of this council. We talked about it. And the way they want it to go is not follow the highway, you know, come back through around. And for Cleveland Cliffs, you know, big company like that, these local guys can't make the call.
Yeah, it sure would be nice.
So-
The trail's almost there already, you know, between the dumps there. You don't
Well,
have to
there's
pass
so
the
many
water
kids
tower.
out there, you know, too, coming back and
Yeah.
forth to town. And yeah, that has been on the burner, not on the back burner either.
Yeah.
No, we sit on the trail board. I sit on the trail board, and we've had numerous discussions with Mike Wiskow and Eric, our engineer, and trying to do stuff with, but it just doesn't happen as fast as we'd like. You think, well, the trail's there, all we have to do is use it. It's not that way at all.
Yeah, you gotta get
But,
easements, I
There's a lot of
understand.
politics and a lot of finagling that's gotta go on to get that stuff and get it done right. But we are working on that, Merv, I give
All
you
right,
my
all
word.
right, no
And the
problem. Here's,
village-
Well, thank you for your donation.
Well, thank you very much.
all right.
Thanks, Merv. Thank you.
One request here. If we do decide to develop that trailer, do you want to be on a committee? Some ideas?
I suppose we can do that.
Since you know pretty well where it should go, if we can
Yeah, I mean, it's more or less pretty much there already. You
Get-
don't have to move the fence much, no, for you tax there, that's.
So you made a mistake coming here, now you got volunteered for something. Well, thank you very much. Everybody in town will appreciate that. Ann, did you want to bring something up too?
My name is Angela Ossing, and I live at 211.5 North Vale Avenue here in Iflit. I do have, well, not my final copy of a donation letter.
Oh, okay.
I got 5 of them for each. I kind of wanted it reviewed before I send it out to be as a citizen soliciting donations for the North Side Rink. I also just recently made a Facebook page for it, and wanted to let you guys know that I did do that. I don't know if it needed to be approved before I did it.
We don't currently have a social media policy, so I think
Oh,
you're all
there-
right.
It's all for a good cause here,
Yeah,
that's,
I made it. And I'm like, oh, I better get that approved first. I am setting up a bank account, separate checking account for volunteers for the Northside skating rink. I did have to apply for, oh, sorry, I get nervous, for an assumed name, and that was granted to me, and then I will be tomorrow going to the Miners Bank and setting up a separate checking account just specifically for the Northside rink.
I see there's somebody working in there tonight. Mike, were they doing the plumbing yet, or?
No, I think that the door subcontractor, I know, was doing some work on the sweeps on the doors, some other miscellaneous.
Oh, okay. Because I see you have on your list here, waterfall. We were talking the other day, Jackie, we putting, I think that was something we were gonna add back into that. So that might save you something there on the on the donations. We're thinking of putting that in and doing it,
We do on
Pretty
the
quick.
second page of my donation letter kind of say that, the city of Evlith is helping, and I just want to raise donations to assist the city with the projects that are being done with the staff.
I really appreciate all the work and effort, and the reward for us is if we see that skating rink full. That's,
We will.
that's our big reward. See it used down there, and it looks pretty darn nice.
Yes, and I want to keep improving. Myself, I want to set up kind of just a group of us concerned parents and such that will continue bringing more projects and working on more projects down at the shack.
That's how it got started originally in the 60s. All the families and stuff, parents, and they built that original shack.
The city's put in enough money lately that we need to keep it going.
Well, it gets used. That's kind of our thoughts when you do something like that. Like to see you use it. We like to see it spur that kind of interest, and we appreciate everybody taking their time out to do that because, small town, there's a lot of volunteer effort here. We got some real good help here.
And we do appreciate the Evlith, the council, when Mike Wiskow for applying for the Evlith Community Foundation grant. Hopefully it will be awarded.
And Mitch, you don't see any problem with this letter? I mean, it's
No,
outlined pretty
I'm
good.
fine
so-
with it. I think I think it, basically, as I read it, it's a group of citizens who are gonna seek donations, and then basically the money is gonna be donated to the city to essentially be the entity that uses the money. So I think it's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Okay, good.
If any corrections you guys want to make, write it on there and let me know. I will be keeping in touch. And I also had one last question pertaining to the rinks project. Recently, someone brought up about vending machines down in there.
Oh, Jackie and I had, we talked about that the other day after you mentioned it.
And I think we mentioned that maybe the first commission maybe wants to consider whether they want that down there. if they do, then I can certainly search out the appropriate folks that place vending machines.
Yeah, because it'd be what, leased to the city, I think. So, yeah, so that's moving ahead.
And lastly, I wanted to bring about, getting a phone line, the cable and internet hooked up there, since it's a city-owned building, the process of getting that accomplished.
Were we talking, was I talking with you or Jack?
Yeah, I mentioned it because I talked to her earlier today that was, used to have some of that stuff, and then I think I mentioned it to Mike, but, we used to have cable in there, didn't we, Mike?
Yes, that's correct. And before the old buildings were demoed, I requested the service disconnect from MediaCom, and I called them at the end of last week and asked that the new service be installed in the building. Tentatively, it's scheduled for November 27th.
Okay.
A possibility,
Oh, okay.
just to get a service to the building, so hopefully that
And then the other
that
two
will happen.
is, well, if it's cable.
We can
then-
bundle.
Can we bundle? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got everything.
And then we can buy a router and it could be wireless too.
Yeah.
Check your Facebook while you're sleeping.
Would that be a possibility?
I guess, yes, in the past, the city did not pay anything for that, I think, basic cable package that you had there. If it is something the council would like to pay for, then I think all we'd have to do is probably just bump up our Park and Rec O&M budget a little bit for next year too.
Well, we should have some
Account for that.
communication down there in case something happens, you know.
Well, if you put the phone in
landline
and
or
you've got the
something.
cable,
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
might as well get the
bundle
Wi-Fi, the bundle package,
so,
because we
Yeah.
know they all have cell phones.
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
All right, Ange, you've been putting a lot of overtime in on this.
Good job, Ange.
We really appreciate it. Thank you. Anyone else from the audience? If not, I'll move on to our consent agenda, which calls for approval of payroll, October 16th through the 31st. Resolution authorizing the closure of the Evelyn Relief Association Trust Fund account.
So moved.
Motion made by Peterson. Do I have support to accept the consent agenda?
I'll support it.
Support by Hadrava. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And public hearing for our CDBG grant application. Mitch, what do we do? Just,
Yeah, Mayor, all you would have to do here is just convene the public hearing, ask if there's anybody from the public who would like to comment on the application, and close the hearing, and you're on your way.
okay. I will suspend the council meeting at this time and open up our public hearing concerning the grant application. And the public hearing is now called to order. And anyone from the public have anything to bring up? Mike, and that is for infrastructure.
That's correct, sanitary sewer replacement in the 400 and 700 blocks of Hayes.
No one from the audience has anything to ask or add, then I will adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the council meeting. Under unfinished business, we have nothing. Item J, we'll go down to J2, approving resolution ordering a feasibility study of 2014 street and alley improvement projects. We have 4 there. I have a few more to add before I call for a motion on that resolution. We have Kennedy Avenue between Jones Street and Washington Street, Washington Street between Alva and Kennedy Avenue, Jefferson Street, West and East Half, Madison Street between Alva and Kennedy Avenue, and Auburn Avenue between Jones and Washington. And we have North and South Alley east of Grant Avenue between Jones and Jackson Street, North-South Alley of Grant Avenue between Jones and Jackson Street, North-South Alley between Central Court, Adams Avenue from Cleveland to Central Court, an alley between Washington and Madison Streets, Alba and Auburn Avenues. I have a motion that we accept this resolution concerning the feasibility study.
So move.
Motion made by Hadrava. Do I have a support?
Support.
Support by Coivinon. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. I think we took the streets in a section of town for just basically, for public's information, for cost savings. If we group them all together in our 5-year street plan, then we're gonna move to another section of town and take as many streets as we can in that area. Saves us mobilization costs as a recommendation from the Public Works Director and Engineer, which makes a lot of sense. So that's where we're gonna start on that end of town, and hopefully in 5 years, we'll have everything taken care of and start over again. Under item 3, consider approving final pay request number 2 for 2013 sanitary sewer cleaning and televising project.
So moved.
Motion made by Peterson, do I have support?
Support.
Support by Koivunen. Amount of $1,564.
Brian.
Oh, Brian, you guys sound alike way over there. Correct me, motion support by Lillis. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 4. Consider approving pay request number 2 for Northside Park Skating Shack construction.
So moved.
Motion made by Peterson, do I have support?
Support.
Is that you, Joe?
That was me.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Just a quick question. And there was some concern about some installation. Has that been resolved?
No, not to this point. The project is substantially complete. I hope to get out maybe before the end of the week and do a punch list inspection on the building. Hopefully I can hook up with the contractor, walk through that. The issue on the windows has not been resolved yet, but that'll be something
Is
we'll
this,
settle on the punch list.
Is this the final payment, Mike?
No, this is a progress payment too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, this project substantially complete, they basically pays them everything except for 5% retained,
Okay.
which I think is adequate for taking care of the punch list items that appear obvious to me and the window issue.
Well, they've been a good contractor. I'm assuming we're not gonna have any problems with them solving this problem, so.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 5, consider approving plans, submitting plans to the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency for wastewater treatment plant dechlorinization project. That was part of our permit requirements. Mike, that one?
Correct, yes. In our 2012 wastewater treatment plant permit, requirement is that we submit plans to the MPCA for dechlorinating our effluent, our treated water at the wastewater plant before it goes into the stream, and that we have the plans to them by December 31st of 2013, and that we have the project completed, the equipment in place by December 31st of 2014. Basically, I guess what the project entails, a lot of the work will be done by Public Works personnel, running the piping and putting in a weir gate. It's actually a pretty simple installation. We have an existing steel cabinet down there, about, I think it's 54 inches by 25 inches by about 6 feet high. We're gonna set that on a concrete slab outside of the filter building. It'll be just seasonal use. We just have to dechlorinate when we chlorinate, April to October. And the assistant that then we would drain the end of October, reactivate the following April. So the total, you can look on the second sheet of the most recent handout, total estimated cost of the project's $15,638.50.
I'll make the motion to approve, to submit the plans as presented in order to come into compliance.
There's support to that.
I'll support it.
Motion made by Peterson, support by Hadrava. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 6, consider approving Hippodrome ice rental to Ice Edge Hockey in August 2014. And that's the rate we came up with, that's acceptable to everybody. $125 an hour. And the timing is okay. Are we good to go there, Mike, in August?
Yeah, I think you had made a verbal offer to them on their verbal request, and they were very interested, so now they've formalized it with a letter.
Okay.
Okay. Tim, no real big issues with youth hockey that we can't work around?
I am no longer on the board, however, I think with ahead of time, we're so far out in advance that they can make those adjustments to their summer program.
Okay. I'm gonna miss you. It's easy to say, youth hockey, what's going on?
Can I have a motion that we approve the rental agreement with Ice Edge Hockey for August 2014?
So moved.
Motion made by Coivinon, have support.
Support.
Support by Lillis. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Let's see here. Item number 7, liquor license renewals. It's getting to be that time of year. We have Evelyn Bottle Shop, Marge's Liquor, Evelyn Elks, Sue's Penalty Box, Margie's Roosevelt, and Red Garter Lounge. We have a motion that we approve these liquor licenses.
So moved.
I'll support.
Motion made by Coivinon, support by Hadrava. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 8, pay request, final, number 1, final for Range Cornerstone Roofing Company, an amount of $19,199 for police department roof replacement.
So moved.
Motion made by Peterson to make that payment. There's support.
I'll support it.
Support by Hadrava. Brian, is there any trouble with the roof when you were there?
Well, yeah. It's been bad for a while now. Hopefully you won't get any more wet heads.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 9, pay request number 1 for Masaba Glass Window and Door for the amount of $20,735 for library window panels.
So moved.
Motion made by Peterson. There's support.
Support.
Support by Lillis. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 10. Consider accepting quotation to retrofit lights at the library from Range Electric.
Say, Jackie,
Are these,
has there been any conversations with the IRRB on the business retrofit? I mean, would this fall under that if we
We
waited?
can't qualify.
Can't, because of municipality.
And we looked at the cost of the new lights is just so cost prohibitive that, in discussions with Ben and Mike and Mary Beth, that we really think retrofitting will be a fine solution for the lighting issues at the library.
Do we know if the Minnesota Power rebate applies only to the new lights, or does that also apply to the retrofit?
I have to tell you that I believe it's included with the retrofit, Brian, but I'm not sure.
Well, I'll make the motion to approve retrofitting the lights in the amount of $8,495, $4.75.
you have a support to that motion? Well, you got Minnesota Power rebate here.
Yeah.
You have support to Beth's motion?
I'll support it as long as that's what they need. You know, if it works, then that's fine with me.
Okay, motion made by Peterson, support by Coivinon. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Council presentations and committee reports. Do you think we should have our drawing now?
I suppose now's a good time.
I know everybody in the home audience is waiting.
Pins and needles.
According to our little note here, this is games on Friday, November 29th against Colorado. And the next one will be December 8th against the San Jose Sharks. So the first one's against Colorado, and who wants to draw? first lucky one for Colorado is Cindy Ryle, 902 Central Court. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Jim Rabnikar,
Oh,
815 Clay Street. Congratulations.
He's a winner.
all these familiar names, eh?
Give these to Jackie here in a minute here.
Anybody else from the council have anything to report on any commissions or projects going on?
We got the first rock board meeting tomorrow of the year, so I would probably look at Jackie and see if they're gonna ask for their reimbursement for the year. So I'll tell them I talked about it, and it's the same thing we give every year.
Okay. Brian, you got anything to bring up or
No, sir.
nothing to add? Brad,
Nothing at this time.
been on vacation, you're all rested up?
Well, kinda. For the first half of the vacation, anyway. Second half's coming next week, so.
Beth, you got anything to bring up?
Not tonight, thank you.
Chief, you got anything to add?
Mayor, just on behalf of the police department, we're going to have a busy next week with the holiday of Thanksgiving. We just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and be safe.
Mike, you got anything to add?
Two items for the council and the public's information. Terrazzo and Concrete Restoration will be working on Highway 53, repairing that settlement tomorrow morning. We have ITS, who's the contractor providing the traffic control, that should be on site about 7 a.m., setting up traffic control. So the southbound lane on 53 will be reduced to one lane in the area between approximately the curling club, Five Seasons Sports. And the work should take a day or two. People are in that area, please give the workers a break. They'll be actually pumping grout under the settled concrete slabs, try to raise them and fill the void that was created when the water line was installed in 2005. So hopefully the weather holds and we get a couple of good days and they're done. The other item, I don't know if any of the council members have been down to the Hippodrome to look at the new scoreboards, goal lights that they're sending, furnished, donated by youth hockey. Over the last month or so, Public Works personnel, Hippodrome personnel, were working on the installation. We hired our local electrical contractor to do the wiring, and boy, I think they look fantastic. It's really appreciate youth hockey providing such an asset.
I'm gonna go down there and look at those. I didn't know they were up yet. Eric, you got anything to add?
Nothing tonight unless you have any questions.
Nope, we probably will in a few months when we get started on those projects again. Jack, you got anything to add? Mitch?
No, all's quiet on the legal front.
That's good. Nobody's after us yet, eh?
Good to go there.
Anyone from the audience have anything to add? I just have to say one thing, about the community. I've never seen more donations from, businesses and private individuals, and it really, speaks a lot about the people in the town, what they think of the town.
Yeah.
A lot of civic pride. We've had more donations this year than I've ever seen, and for really, good causes. That's for the kids, which is what everything's all about, making a better place for them. But I've got nothing further, so I will adjourn the meeting.